Feeling?
Good. Great.
I said, how's everyone feeling?
Great. Good. Good.
All right. This is about inspiration today, right? All right, well, I'd like to thank everyone for being here. This is my 10th speech. It went rather fast. My first speech was on November 10th. And I've spoken before in front of groups, and I've worked with basketball players, and it's something I've been very passionate about, working with people and helping people. The first speech that I gave was called Follow Your GPS, and that was kind of like my intro to about who I am. And although I love speaking, I wasn't doing it on a consistent basis. So by coming here and trying to speak every single week, it's given me an opportunity to improve myself. So this speech, it's called Julien Bendeke. That's one of the players that I trained from years ago. And the thing with Julien, I call him the real American dream. And as I get into the speech, you're going to understand why. So this is the story of a young man who came to America with nothing. Okay? He grew up in Cameroon, in Africa. And like all kids in Cameroon, the first sport that they were introduced to is soccer. Now, Julien always had a positive outlook and a kind of looked at life differently. And he was taller than most players, most people on soccer fields. And he was skinny. So they kind of labeled him as weak. He didn't really appreciate that. He liked the competition aspect, but it wasn't something that he really wanted to be a part of. So he attempted many sports, ping pong, he tried the piano, but nothing really gave him that kind of inspiration, that competitive nature that made him want to go out and change things. So one day he was channel surfing at home, and he stumbled upon a television program, and he saw a bunch of guys that looked just like him, tall, skinny, funny, throwing around a ball and shooting it in a hoop. Later he found out that that was the Harlem Globetrotters, okay, and it was actually in black and white at the time. Julien then kind of was hooked. He said, that's what I want to do. Now, basketball isn't very big in Cameroon, so a friend of his who kind of had an in with basketball, he played, he knew the people, took Julien under his wing, and he brought him to the court and helped him play. Now, Julien's first role on a basketball court was basically just passing the ball to everyone because he didn't know how to shoot. He would shoot with two hands, and anyone who knows basketball knows, you shoot with one hand. But he didn't really know what he was doing. So that was kind of his role. So a big part of his life, he was trying to impress his dad. Now, he had an older brother who his dad kind of took to more because his brother was involved in more things and kind of did more, sports-wise. So Julien wanted to impress his dad. So as Julien worked with his friend, he started to get better. He started getting bigger. He started working out with the weights. He started doing all these things to improve himself. And then his dad took notice. His dad bought him his first basketball. But the thing that his dad stressed to him, and what I stress to any player that I train in any sport, you have to be a student athlete first. You have to be the student, then the athlete. So if his grades failed, if he didn't do well in school, basketball was taken away from him. And then as he did better, his dad would buy him magazines and buy him sneakers. So Julien's town was very small, and he got to the point where he got to the top. He couldn't really go anymore. And he knew he wanted to pursue a career in basketball. And he knew the only way to do that was in the United States. So as fate had it, his uncle was sending his kids over for a better life in the United States, wanted someone older to bring them over there. That was Julien's exit strategy. And using the word of the day, he was gone. He wanted to be in the United States. So Julien came over on June 25th, 2005. He came over here on a 6-month visa with no money, speaking 4 languages, none of which were English. So he had to come here, and he had a dream of playing basketball in the NBA. So he came over here, and he had 6 months to get himself together. So he started going and training and playing at a place called Cromwell Center. That's actually where I grew up playing basketball in Staten Island, New York. I would spend my Friday nights and Saturday nights and Sunday nights there while all the kids from high school and college were out drinking and doing all crazy stuff. Me and my friends were playing basketball. So it was awesome that I found out he played in Cromwell Center. At one day he was playing in Cromwell Center, and he met my mentor, a gentleman by the name of Jerry Mosley, who I actually started training basketball players seriously back around that time. And Jerry was walking by him, and Jerry's got a heart of gold. He's looking to help everybody. He said to Julien, what do you want out of life? What are you doing here? And Julien said, I want to play in the NBA. And Jerry flat out said to him, your shot sucks, but I can help you. So Jerry took Julien under his wing. A couple of weeks later was the first time that I met Julien. And when I met Julien, the first thing that resonated with me was how humble he was. He obviously had talent, he had skill, but he was humble. He needed help, he wanted help, and he wasn't afraid to ask for it, which I think that's the problem today. Most people are scared to ask for help, that they're going to look, incompetent. No, you ask for help so you can stay strong, not because you're weak. So one day, the first day, I guess you could say, I met Julien, was a great day. I saw how he moved his body. I saw how he controlled his body. And I saw I wanted to help someone. So I started helping him. I lived on the South Shore of Staten Island. He lived all the way on the North Shore of Staten Island. Now, if anybody knows how Staten Island is, the North Shore is right near Staten Island Ferry. And our training was somewhere in the middle. So I would go out of my way to pick him up, take him to training, take him home. I would be on the phone with him, talking to him, not just about basketball, but about life, because I could see he wanted more out of life, not just basketball, although he wanted to play pro. So fast forward, after the training that we did, he went to college. He went down to Florida to play college basketball. He went to a place called Barry, I think it's Barry University. And his first 2 years, he played great. He was doing well. He had a great time. But then his junior year, he kind of hurt himself. A little bit of a knee injury. And it started not becoming fun. The coach was playing players over him that didn't really belong there, that shouldn't be playing over him. But that's just with any sport. That's with any organization. There's always people, who go ahead of you that you don't think they deserve it. So it started to become, as Julien put it, going every day to a bad job. So he knew his time was up. He knew he had to be gone. So he was a biology major. He started putting that student-athlete mindset to work again and becoming more of a student than an athlete. He still plays basketball today, still does things, but he started really putting his heart and soul into biology. Now, what Julien did was he graduated from Barry, and he could have went back to home. I mean, think about it. You leave your home country and you go somewhere and try something, and it doesn't work out. You can easily just say, you know what, I'm going to go back to my comfort zone and I'm going to go back home. I could always look like I was the best because I gave it my shot and it didn't work out, but I'm back home now. But he didn't do that. He busted his butt the same way that he did on the basketball court, and now in Florida, he's a microbiologist. Blew my mind. I didn't know what a microbiologist did. I don't even know what it does. I don't know what he does. But what he tells me is that now he works with the safety of food, which means he's saving lives. Indirectly, but he's saving lives. Now, here's a kid who came from a town where, he just was trying to get out, got out and stayed out, and now he's helping the world, basically. So the thing that inspired me is that I gave him all these tools on the basketball court, off the basketball court, and he took these tools and used them in his life. He took the principles of basketball and of sports, of teamwork and leadership and helping people and not being afraid to be a great teammate. And he took these things and made a career for himself. Now, what I just found out the other day, he told me he's actually going back to get his master's and his PhD. For me, it's mind-blowing. It was a young kid who, knucklehead, we always had fun, we always joked around, but it's an amazing story for me. But the thing that, for me, that's so, I guess, it kind of eats my heart, because I gave him all I could, and to this day, he'll tell me when we speak, he calls me Yoda from Star Wars. And he always tells me, I don't know what I would have done if it wasn't for you. You everything you've done for me, all the time that you put in, all the things that we've done, all the money that you spent. He goes, I'll never be able to repay you. And I was like, you know what? You are repaying. Because you did exactly what my goal was for you to become a better person, not just a better player. Because I believe that, the better the person, the better the player, the better your lifestyle. But it all starts with you being a great person. So Julien, to me, is the ultimate American dream, because he came here with nothing, not speaking the language. And today he has his accent. He tells me I have my accent, and we have some, but we still I just spoke to him a couple days ago, telling him that I was going to do the speech about him, and he's so excited. He goes, I can't wait. Make sure that you record it. I want to see it. I was like, absolutely. He's such a wonderful kid. But that being said, I strive for everybody to just look inside themselves and understand that You might not know it right now, but somehow, some way, someone's looking at you as an inspiration. You might not realize it, but just always be cognizant of what you're doing when you're dealing with other people. But this is my story about Julien, Bendeke, the American Dream.